Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the Banhammer.
Oh, you didn't tap the table this time.
I did
Very
not.
good.
Yeah. I'm getting a little less destructive about the office. I've had a few warnings.
You've already knocked one of the phones off of a friend.
Look, I had a few letters from like head office, and I just I don't want to get into a.
Letters, wow.
Last paycheck.
Did they send them from the past?
Yeah. From the people still get letters, Carl. The post system still works, right? Okay.
It is fully intact.
It does work well. I don't know.
I mean, otherwise our business would go broke.
Yeah, you're right. Cardmarket, a great place to send your cards via mail. Yes.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, right? Because the card we're dealing with today is Deathrite Shaman. All of the black mana cards have like the most rocking card art.
Yes,
it does.
Deathrite Shaman was printed in 2012 and then banned in 2014.
Had a short run.
Very short. So clearly people realized that something was wrong almost immediately. Either one black or one green. Creature Elf Shaman. Tap. Exile target land card from a graveyard. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Then you pay 1 black and tap. Exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. Okay. And then 1 green, tap. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. You gain 2 life.
If you just see this, what do you think?
Seeing this,
there's a lot of text.
So there is a lot of text, but I'm seeing some things that are already immediately interesting. So it's a 1 mana card. It isn't very strong. Its toughness is only like 2. Yeah, it's not very good. Like a dice of lightning bolt, but the thing.
Most things die to lightning bolt.
Yeah, most things die to lightning bolt, but like usually a hallmark staple of a good card is like, hey, that doesn't die immediately when it gets played. I am seeing some issues personally from looking at it. Adding 1 mana of any color to your mana pool is that good? Like, I mean, I know that like I don't know if that's amazing or anything like that, but it does seem like that allows you to facilitate certain cards.
There's a lot of cards that do that.
Yeah.
Except they don't cost you having to exile a land in a graveyard, which is a pretty steep cost in a lot of formats. Because you don't usually have that many lands in your graveyard.
So you have to exile 1 land per activation, that is. So
okay, right, yeah.
Like,
That's
become difficult.
So that each opponent loses 2 life. That seems pretty good. It was like the starting life 20. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And then exile target creature card from a graveyard. You gain 2 life. Life gain's always okay, but like
I love how life loss good. Life life gain. Sure.
That's the spirit.
But it is like it's like opponent lose life, me feel good, me gain life, me no feel good. Like it's kind of so I guess maybe I'm missing something on this or maybe something's just not standing out. I guess the fact that you can also just like do either one by like I don't know because then it's tapped. Yeah, I'm actually not super sure about this, guys. To me, this doesn't seem too bad.
I mean, it's kind of an unfair ask.
Yeah, you were not being fair because it's
is there something? Situational. Let me guess. There's like some like line that you have to go into that makes like, and this card was like the keystone to it or something.
We looked up combos with this card earlier. There's one. It involves 6 cards. Prithvi and Hulk.
Let's go 6-card combo. We know.
Mess.
We only looked up combos because we put in Deathrite Shaman into Google, and like there was a suggestion, like the 4th entry or so was Deathrite Shaman combo, and we were like stumped.
What?
Hell yeah,
really?
Let's go. So okay, if this wasn't abused in the combo, like is it just too good for like a burn resource generate? I don't even know. Like
it's a really unfair ask of you, Adam, to like try to get why this is broken because nobody knew why this was broken during spoiler season.
Yeah.
People looked at it and were like,
so was this completely slept on? Just absolutely, people were like,
release.
People mainly didn't realize that the first line of text in Modern has fetch lands.
Yeah.
They're lands that don't tap for any mana, but if you sacrifice them, you go through your deck. You find a land of a certain color and put into play. More so than a certain color, a certain basic land type, which there's these other lands that are like mountain, island, swamp, forest. So you get those.
Yeah, and in theory that's fine, right? You put a land, you sacrifice 1 land and get another one that actually produces mana, right? Yeah. So that's like a fair exchange. But then
because usually that's card selection.
Yeah.
But if you play Deathrite Shaman, it automatically always taps for the mana you want. But you know what? There's other cards that do that. But at the time, and I don't believe I'm gonna say that, there was a deck rampaging through the format, defeating all others, and it was called Jund. Jund was the best deck in the format.
I maintain Jund, but like, sure, like, let's,
oh yeah, you called it Jund the other day.
It's not that successful anymore. But these days, it was very successful.
Yeah.
And it turns out there also was no other creature at that time that cost 1 that had the stat line of 1/2. And make mana of any
that's
color.
an important thing. There was 0 ones that tap for mana.
Okay.
There was that tap for mana any color. But
There
this
was
one,
a 1/1 that taps for 1 color, but this one was a 1/2 that taps for any color. Alright, suddenly we're getting into realms that were unexplored beforehand, and we're not even touching the 2nd or 3rd ability yet, right?
Yeah.
It's the versatility. It's rare that you see a card. Usually cards are banned because they do too much of one thing, right? I don't know. Faithless Looting does too much of the graveyard thing. The graveyard, it's really good there, and like, whatever. Many cards are banned for that. This one just got banned because it did too many flexible things. Like, it only does one thing a turn.
at the cost of 1 mana.
Yeah. Not only like...
That could either be green or black. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gains life against aggressive strategies by exiling creatures. It exiles creatures. You have to view at those as 2 different effects. It's not gaining life and exiling creatures together is so great. It's exiling creatures out of graveyards against decks that are focused on the graveyard. It's gaining life against decks that are focused on your life totals. It's exiling instant and sorceries against decks that rely on the graveyard once again. And then it deals damage against slow decks.
I didn't even cop that. I didn't even kind of, very quickly, I didn't even cop that that's from a graveyard.
Yeah, it's not just
it's not
you,
yours.
It's your opponent. They're
Ew,
like, oh sweet,
no, it's so much more broken. Never mind. Oh my God, that's
I put
actually
this huge
really
creature in my
good.
graveyard that I want to bring back. I'm going to play this expensive spell to bring it back. You're like, nope.
Hang on a second.
Then you're
How
like,
is that fair?
I'm going to bring this instant from my graveyard and get to cast it back. You're like, nope. You're just like, they're swatting their hands away.
You guys get to watch that moment on my face when I realized that. Hang on, because you said from graveyard, and I was like, but like, I was like, yeah, but you have to set it up.
What's your opponent going to do with your graveyard?
I was like, well, yeah, what's he? He's gonna like bring it, and I was like, hang on, wait. Oh no, how is that? That's not fair, right? Like that's.
And also, if you're not doing that, it gives you mana of any color.
Yeah, but like that's. From a graveyard that you're not even paying resources. It's not your resources.
Yeah. One of the additions is also your opponent's lands. You could so you always generally got to tap for mana. It wasn't like, oh, if I manage to get a land in my graveyard, there's bound to be a land.
Okay,
in
that makes sense
graveyard.
now because that is actually exceptionally versatile.
Yeah.
The fact that you can remove your opponent's resources in order to gain.
And it blocks 1/1.
Yeah. The one that it won't die to a ping. It will literally just sit there and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just move this. I'm gonna do a little bit of this. Let me just flex it a little bit
Also,
this way.
This is not the reason why it's banned, but it's also an elf.
True. Yeah.
What happens if this comes back?
Jund becomes marginally better?
Yeah.
This huge slew of Jund players who've been kind of complaining about the format forever because their deck is unplayable will creak out from underneath the floorboards, gouge at the sunlight in their eyes because they haven't been out for a while.
Yes, but also I think any green mana dork gets replaced by Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah. Poor Ignoble Hierarch just peeked out and saw a bit of the light of day and barely got played, but not straight out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Ignoble Hierarch might still be played alongside Deathrite Shaman, but Deathrite Shaman would definitely like go into all the green decks, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is a lot of the graveyard decks would just kind of disappear. Like Murktide Regent is a big deck. We don't have Lurrus anymore, so that's no longer usually that would be like, oh great, Lurrus would not be as powerful anymore. Maybe they should have unbanned Deathrite Shaman instead of banning Lurrus. Actually, that sounds like an awful idea. Outside of that,
I mean, it would help against Murktide, and it would weaken graveyard decks a lot. Like just randomly, every green deck now suddenly has main deck 4 of hate against you, because why not?
But that's it for 1 mana. Also, not sacrificing their main game plan. They got something that deals damage and gains life and ramps them. But also, by the way,
jammable package. It's just like put it in there. Like, hey, why not? Like, I mean, if it doesn't kill your consistency too much, it's like might as well stick it in. If it's gonna like, it's graveyard hate, right? So it's,
you like mana dorks. You like dealing damage. You probably like gaining life to some extent.
But
none of these effects are like I'll never use it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that being said, I don't think it would spawn new archetypes, right? Like there's no deck that makes a big comeback because of it.
Because of what you said, it doesn't do one thing well. It's not like, oh wow, all these cards were bad without it. No, it's just like...
It's like, this just makes it a little easier to play my strategy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, staying banned, I'm assuming, right? You guys probably think it should.
Funnily enough, I think it has the bad effect of making all the mana dorks the same. Every mana dork is now a Deathrite Shaman. But the thing that you mentioned earlier of the power of grinding out the late game, we don't play those kinds of games in Magic anymore. We don't.
We don't. That's it. It wouldn't be tremendously powerful in that way because again, and earlier, but I do think that any inkling of a graveyard deck that remains would kind of be shut up by this, and in the name of deck diversity, I don't think it should be unbanned.
I completely agree. Like the one mana planeswalker argument is gone. We don't grind out games by making your opponent lose 2 life anymore. But the homogenization of the one mana dorks, that's bad. Yeah. And then we also push out any graveyard deck. Yeah. So
it's the upside is not worth the downside, but neither of them are crazy. Like it's not that bad. It's not that good.
Yeah, it's still I can see why this would stay banned. That's actually a really good card though. I love cards that are just like good, but not because they're like, oh, this does an exceptionally broken thing. It's like, no, this is just a very nice package. This is a nice tool. You're like, you're never sad to see it. You're like, oh, hey, I can put this here. So, unfortunately, staying banned.
We should get you a hammer. A gavel?
Yeah, that works too. I'll get it. Don't give me power. Don't give me power. Don't give me power of attorney. It's not good. But yes, so unfortunately, Deathrite Shaman is probably gonna stay banned for quite a long time just because of how good it is then, which is a shame because rocking card art. But if you guys agree with that opinion and on the card art opinion, because I like
actually I care more about your card art opinion. I want to see a lot of thumbs up.
I care about the card art opinion, but if you guys agree with our opinions, which I think for once are actually very, very
reasonable,
based, actually very, very well thought out, let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, flick the notification bell. I love the sound of it, and just thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.